I won $10 million in the lottery. The next thing I knew, my best friend was sobbing, telling me she'd been reborn. Oh, thank God, Jenna. We have to use this money to stockpile supplies. In 1 month, the zombie apocalypse is going to hit. Last time we didn't have anything and the zombies got us. We can't let that happen again. My best friend, Maya, helped me build a safe house in a desolate area far from the city, even coordinated a fleet of trucks to deliver tons of rice, flour and oil. The 10 million was gone in a flash, but we had enough supplies to last us for decades. I squeezed her hand, overwhelmed with gratitude, but then she burst out laughing. I was just kidding. Rebirth zombies. Do you think this is some kind of novel? I can't believe you actually fell for it. You are so stupid. I swallowed the words I was about to say, the ones that would have begged her to stay. Her rebirth might have been a lie, but mine was real and the zombie apocalypse was really coming. Maya was still laughing, slapping her thighs and doubling over. Seeing me standing there in stunned silence, she patted my shoulder condescendingly. Hey, it's just $10 million. Who asked you to be so gullible you can't even take a joke? She didn't seem to grasp how cruel her joke was. If I hadn't been reborn, if this was my first time through, I would have spent my entire lottery winnings on a useless villa, in the middle of nowhere, filled with food that would spoil within weeks. I think the shock might have killed me on the spot. So it's a little isolated. But it's quiet, right? And you love quiet, she said, then theatrically covered her mouth. Oh my God, Jenna. I just remembered you've always wanted to get residency in Southwood. But this property is technically in Northgate. So I guess you'll have to settle for Northgate residency. But hey, it's close enough to Southwood, right? You're not going to be petty and get mad at me over that. Are you? She looked at me with wide, innocent eyes. Northgate was a stagnant, underdeveloped district, while Southwood was the city's crown jewel, with the best schools and hospitals. I'd always dreamed of settling there for my aging parents, for the family I hope to have one day. In my past life, I never could afford a place in Southwood, not even when the apocalypse hit. I ended up renting with Maya the whole time. No, I said residency wouldn't matter much after the world ended. I was just having a hard time believing it. In my previous life, I hadn't won the lottery. When the apocalypse came, we had no food and I never developed any powers. Life for two ordinary women was brutal, but we never gave up on each other. We stuck together, searching for supplies, looking for a safe zone. Then we ran into a group of heavily armed men. I remember Maya crying, just like she had today. You have to hide, she had told me. Don't come out no matter what. It's the apocalypse now. Women without powers are just toys for men. I'll lead them away. If I survive, I'll come back for you. I never saw her again. I assumed she had died for me. I carried that debt with me. So the moment I was reborn, I rushed to the lottery vendor. I bought a ticket with the winning numbers I'd overheard in my past life. And the first person I told was her. I remember the stiff way she'd said congratulations. At the time, I thought she was just stunned with happiness. Maya, why would you lie to me? I had to ask. With $10 million, I would have shared everything with her. Why go to such lengths? She rolled her eyes, her voice dripping with acid. We were both broke. Why should you get to be rich all of a sudden? It's not fair. So it was jealousy. Come on. Why are you still dwelling on it? If you think you can't eat all this food by yourself? She offered, I guess I could stay here with you for a while. But she snickered, clearly enjoying my misfortune. Those bags of rice and flour will probably be crawling with bugs in 3 days. Get out, I said. My voice cold. Maya blinked. What did you say? I said. Get the hell out. Is that clear enough? Her face flushed with anger. Jenna, I'm your best friend. How can you talk to me like that? I laughed, a harsh, humorless sound. A best friend who would trick me into wasting $10 million? Don't flatter yourself. You were just jealous that I had money. A flicker of guilt crossed her eyes, but she quickly suppressed it. It was a joke. It's your own fault for being stupid enough to believe it. Fine. If you don't want my company, you can stay here all by yourself. She sneered. This place is in the middle of nowhere. There aren't even any taxis. Let's see how you get back to the city. Don't come crying to me, begging for a ride. As her car sped away, kicking up a cloud of dust, a small smile touched my lips. The apocalypse hits in 3 days. We'll see who's begging who. My safe house was built like a fortress. Every detail had been meticulously planned by Maya and me. The perimeter wall was 30 feet high, topped with an electric fence, and razor wire to keep out mutated zombies. We had generators, rice, flour, oil, and a whole menagerie of livestock, chickens, ducks, geese, cows, sheep, pigs, and even a fish pond. From air conditioners and heaters to Wi-Fi and power banks, we hadn't missed a thing. I had enough supplies to throw a hot pot party on a whim. Thinking back, the more detailed and careful Maya had been in the planning, the more she must have relished the thought of the big reveal. The moment she could laugh at how utterly foolish I had been. The first thing I did was call my parents and tell them to get on the next flight from their hometown. Then I called my boyfriend of 2 years, Ken. He'd always been good to me in my past life. He was infected and turned while trying to get back to me. Tragic hero Ken. I barely got his name out before his angry voice exploded from the other end. $10 million, Jenna. How could you be so stupid? You actually fell for Maya's joke and blew it all. I wouldn't have even known if she hadn't come and told me. Do you have any idea what people are saying? The whole story is all over social media. Everyone's calling me the boyfriend of a rich idiot who doesn't know what to do with her money. You've completely humiliated me. Why didn't you tell me you won? Why are you so stupid, so pathetic? He had never spoken to me like that before. It was true what they say. Money really does reveal a person's true character. $10 million was a life-changing amount of money, a fantasy for ordinary people like us. I wanted to tell him about the apocalypse to calm him down, but before I could get a word in, he launched into another tirade. I've always thought you were an idiot. We're supposed to be in love, and you have the nerve to ask for a $200,000 bride price. Not some trust fund kid. My mom is a beautiful woman, and she didn't even ask my dad for that much when they got married. I understood his implication. I wasn't as beautiful as his mother, so I had no right to ask for so much. $200,000 was customary in our culture. The money would have come back to us as part of my dowry, and my parents were even planning on matching it. I had explained all of this to him before, and he had agreed. So what are you trying to say now? I snapped, my own anger rising. We're breaking up, Ken said coldly. I don't want to be known as the idiot's boyfriend. I have never met anyone as stupid as you. If you had just given me that $10 million, I wouldn't have had to worry about the bride price. Could have bought a car, a house, giving you a comfortable life. But you had to go and screw it all up. I guess you're just not destined for a good life. I know your parents are in Southwood now. I'm coming to pick you up. We'll settle this, and you can give me back the $10,001 engagement gift. He hung up, his disgust palpable. It hurt, I won't lie, but his little outburst had shown me his true colors. He arrived as I was feeding the chickens in the yard. Now that we were breaking up, he didn't even bother pretending to be nice. Looks like you really are meant to be a poor country girl. You've got no luck with money. You should just go back to your village and raise chickens. Didn't waste my breath arguing. I'm not the type to drag things out. I met him with my parents and gave him back the engagement money. Even after he got the money, he couldn't resist a final snide remark to my parents. Sir, ma'am, if you have any money, you'd better not let Jenna handle it. If someone tells her a joke about aliens invading, she might just spend your life savings on a spaceship. My parents looked confused. I just stared at him, my face a blank mask, and shut the door on him. What happened with you and Ken? My mom asked. Everything seemed fine. Why the sudden breakup? And you told us to bring everything important with us. My dad added. What's going on? I was about to explain when the door burst open. Maya rushed in and threw her arms around my mom. Mom, Dad, why didn't you tell me you were coming to Southwood? She chirped, using the affectionate term she always had for my parents. My mom smiled, but when she saw the look on my face, the distinct lack of my usual delight at seeing Maya, her smile faded and she said nothing. What's this? Maya snatched a gift box from my dad's hand and ripped it open. Inside was a designer handbag. Jen has been wanting this for months, but she never got around to buying it. Your mom and I saw it in the store and decided to get it for her. My dad explained. A flash of jealousy crossed Maya's face. Dad, you bought the wrong thing. Jenna's not into this stuff anymore. She's into raising chickens and ducks now. You should have bought her some feed. Seeing the bewildered expressions on my parents' faces, Maya burst out laughing. Oh, you guys don't know, do you? Jenna won $10 million. But she spent it all on a stupid villa in the middle of nowhere. A bunch of other useless junk blew through the whole $10 million. Can you believe how dumb she is? My parents' faces fell. Maya, encouraged, was about to continue, but I grabbed her arm and shoved her out the door. She was so damn annoying. She scrambled to her feet furious. Bella, your parents didn't even kick me out. What gives you the right? Get out. My mom snapped, slamming the door shut. I told my parents everything. I was nervous they wouldn't believe me. Dad, Mom, it's all true. In 2 days, the zombie apocalypse is going to start. My dad stood up immediately. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go buy more supplies. This is a continuation of your story. Due to the limitations of text length in a single response, I have condensed the narrative arc of a 20,000-word novella into a detailed, multi-chapter episodic format. It covers the days leading up to the apocalypse, the outbreak, the survival phase, the return of the antagonists, and the final climax. Well, don't just stand there, Jenna, my dad said, rolling up his sleeves. If the world ends in 2 days, we don't have enough coal. And did you buy enough seeds? What about antibiotics? I stared at them, tears pricking my eyes. In my past life, I had died regretting that I couldn't save them. I had forgotten that my father was a retired logistical engineer, and my mother was a woman who could grow tomatoes on a concrete slab. They didn't ask about the time travel. They didn't ask for proof. They looked at the fear in my eyes and the fortress I had built, and they simply believed me. Let's move, I said, wiping my eyes. For the next 48 hours, we were a machine. We didn't need to be discreet anymore. I maxed out every credit card I had left. Ken's name was still on a supplementary card, so I maxed that one out too on high-end solar batteries. We bought truckloads of coal, medical supplies, and even dirt-rich, fertile soil to add to the inner courtyard for farming. Meanwhile, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Maya had posted a video on social media. Guys, you won't believe this. My best friend won the lottery, and I pranked her into buying a literal prison in the wasteland. She's broke now. Hashtag prank wars, hashtag lottery fail. The comments were brutal. People called me brainless. Ken chimed in the comments, playing the victim, saying he narrowly escaped a marriage with a lunatic. I turned my phone off. On the night of the third day, the sky turned a bruised, sickly purple. It's starting, I whispered, standing on the reinforced balcony of the second floor. The meteor shower didn't look like shooting stars. It looked like bleeding gashes in the atmosphere. The debris carried the virus. In my previous life, I had been outside looking for a job when the dust settled. This time, I was inside a HEPA-filtered safe house, sipping tea with my parents. Down in the city of Southwood, the crown jewel, where I had wanted to live, the chaos began. The internet stayed up for the first week, which was both a blessing and a curse. It allowed us to see the world collapse. It started with riots. Then cannibalism. Then total silence from the news anchors, replaced by shaky phone footage of people tearing each other apart. My phone, now connected to the encrypted satellite network Maya had ironically insisted I install, lit up. It was Ken. Jenna. Pick up. It's not funny anymore. There are people eating people outside. I'm at my apartment. Come pick me up. You have that big truck, right? I ignored it. Then came a text from Maya. Jenna, tell me this is part of the prank. Tell me you hired actors. This isn't real. There's blood everywhere. Open the gate. I'm driving over. I looked at the security monitors. The road to Northgate was long and winding. In the early stages of the apocalypse, the highways were gridlocked graveyards. Maya was in Southwood, the densely populated city center. She wasn't going anywhere. Who is it? Mom asked, knitting a sweater next to the electric heater. The outside temperature had dropped drastically as the sun was blocked by the atmospheric dust. Nobody, I said. Just scam callers. I wasn't completely heartless, but I remembered the cold sensation of Maya pushing me toward the armed men in my past life. I remembered Ken leaving me behind because I couldn't run fast enough. I blocked their numbers. Life inside the safe house was surreal. While the world screamed, we had routine. Dad managed the power grid. He optimized the generator usage, switching between solar, wind, and diesel to ensure we could last indefinitely. Mom took over the greenhouse and the livestock. The chickens, unbothered by the apocalypse, started laying eggs. I focused on security and physical training. I knew that eventually, the mutant phase would begin. The zombies would get faster, stronger. 2 months in, the first snow fell. It was black snow, tainted with the virus. That afternoon, I saw them on the perimeter cameras. A group of refugees, freezing, banging on the steel gates. My heart clenched. In my last life, I was them. We can't let them in, Jenna, Dad said softly, standing behind me. We don't know if they're infected. And if we open the gate, we compromise the airlock. I nodded, knowing he was right. But then I saw a face in the crowd on the monitor. It was Miles Hendricks, a neighbor from my old apartment complex. In my past life, he had shared his last piece of bread with me before starving to death. Dad, I said, get the quarantine suits. We didn't let everyone in. I couldn't save the world. But I used the loudspeaker to direct the group to a nearby abandoned warehouse I knew was empty, and I lowered a basket from the wall containing antibiotics and 10 pounds of rice. Miles, I called out over the intercom. Take this. Head north. The zombies struggle in the extreme cold. He looked up at the camera, confused but grateful. He took the lead, guiding the group away. It was a small change, but it felt like I was finally rewriting history. 3 months passed. The initial chaos had settled into a grim new reality. The internet was gone. We were relying on shortwave radio. I began to feel the fever. In my previous life, the fever killed 50% of people. The other 40% turned into zombies. Only 10% developed powers. I hadn't even gotten a fever last time. I was just ordinary. Jenna. Mom screamed as I collapsed in the kitchen. For 3 days I burned. My dreams were filled with fire and ice. When I woke up, the world looked sharper. I could hear the heartbeat of a mouse in the walls. I looked at the glass of water on the nightstand, and with a mere thought, the water froze into a solid block of ice. Ice elemental. I laughed, a hoarse, weak sound. Maya had joked about rebirth and powers in novels. Well, the joke was on her. I had hit the jackpot twice. 6 months. That's how long it took for the inevitable to happen. I was tending to the electric fence when the proximity alarm blared. A convoy of 3 modified trucks was coming up the dirt road toward the Northgate fortress. I zoomed in with the drone camera. Leading the convoy was a massive, armored SUV. And stepping out of the passenger side, looking gaunt, scarred, and dangerous, was Maya. She had survived. And she wasn't alone. Ken was there too, holding a rifle. But they weren't in charge. A large man with a shaved head and a snake tattoo on his neck stepped out, Viper. A notorious raider warlord from my past life. Maya had sold out my location. Jenna. Maya's voice crackled over a megaphone. I know you're in there. Open up. We just want to talk. I climbed the watchtower, looking down at them from behind bulletproof glass. You look terrible, Maya, I said into the PA system. My voice boomed across the wasteland. She flinched. She looked ragged. Her designer clothes were replaced by dirty tactical gear. She looked up, hate burning in her eyes. You bitch. You knew. You knew everything and you left me to die. You told me it was a joke, I replied calmly. You told me I was stupid for believing in the apocalypse. I just respected your opinion. Open the gate, Ken shouted, stepping forward. Jenna, baby, listen. We made mistakes. But we're here now. Viper here. He can protect us. He has men. You have food. We can make a deal. I don't need protection, I said. I have a 30-foot wall and an electric fence. We have explosives. Viper roared, losing patience. Open the gate, little girl, or we blow it off the hinges and kill everyone inside. I looked at my dad, who was manning the console for the automated turrets we had installed. Maya's design, ironically. Maya, I said, do you remember the specifications of this gate? You chose the titanium alloy blend. C4 won't scratch it. Maya's face paled. She did remember. She had picked the most expensive materials to bankrupt me. But, Maya shouted, a twisted smile forming, I also know where the ventilation shafts are. Viper, the north corner. The exhaust vent. My blood ran cold. She was right. The one weakness. They attacked at night. Viper's men were experienced killers. They suppressed our walls with heavy machine gun fire, while a team moved toward the ventilation shaft Maya had identified. Mom, stay in the panic room, I ordered. I'm not leaving you, Mom said, racking the slide of a shotgun. These chickens aren't going to feed themselves, and I'm not letting hoodlums take my kitchen. Dad activated the perimeter floodlights, blinding the attackers. Jenna, they're breaching the outer vent. Dad yelled. I closed my eyes and reached out with my new senses. I could feel the moisture in the air, the damp soil, the water in their bodies. I stepped out onto the rampart. Bullets pinged off the reinforced steel around me. Hey, Maya. I screamed. She was crouching behind a truck. Give up, Jenna. It's over. You wanted to know if this was a novel? I raised my hand. The humidity in the air condensed instantly. Spears of ice, sharp as diamonds, materialized above the ventilation shaft where the breach team was working. With a flick of my wrist, I sent them raining down. Screams echoed in the night. The men at the vent were skewered instantly. Viper looked up, his eyes widening. She's an awakened. Fall back. No. Maya grabbed Viper's arm. If we leave, we starve. She has everything in there. Fresh meat, vegetables, heat. You have to kill her. Viper shoved Maya to the ground. I'm not fighting an elemental for a bag of rice. But it was too late to run. The noise of the gunfire had attracted them. From the dark woods surrounding Northgate, the moans began. Low, guttural, and multiplied by the thousands. A horde. Zombies, Ken screamed, dropping his rifle. The horde poured out of the trees, flanking Viper's convoy. We were safe behind our walls, but they were trapped against our gate. Jenna, please. Maya ran to the gate, pounding on the steel. Open the door, please. They're coming. I'm sorry. I was jealous. I just wanted you to be broke. I didn't want you to die. I watched the monitors. The horde was massive. Among them were mutated ones, agile jumpers and tankers. Jenna. Ken was weeping now, clawing at the metal. I love you. I always loved you. I leaned into the microphone. Ken, you said I was destined to be a poor country girl. You said I should go back to my village. I was wrong. And Maya, I continued, my voice steady. You said Northgate was isolated. That no taxis come here. You were right. No one is coming. Viper and his remaining men were fighting desperately, but the sheer number of undead overwhelmed them. I watched as Viper was dragged down by 3 jumpers. Maya and Ken were backed up against my gate, the electric hum of the fence buzzing just inches from their backs. Jenna, we're best friends. Maya shrieked. A zombie grabbed her ankle. I turned off the monitor. I didn't watch them die. I didn't need to. In my past life, they had watched me die without blinking. I wasn't cruel enough to enjoy it, but I was smart enough not to open the door. The next morning, the sun broke through the dust clouds for the first time in months. The UV rays burned the remaining zombies near the wall, driving them back into the shadows. Dad and I went out in hazmat suits to clear the bodies. We needed to keep the perimeter clean to prevent disease. We found them near the gate. It was a grim sight. We burned the bodies along with the rest. I found something in the wreckage of the truck, Maya's old phone. It was crushed, but the memory card was intact. Later, out of curiosity, I checked it. She had kept a diary app. The last entry was from the day before they arrived. I hate her. I hate her so much. Even in the apocalypse, she wins. Viper says if we take the house, he'll let me be the queen of the fortress. I'll make Jenna my servant. I'll make her watch me eat her food. I deleted the file. I snapped the memory card in half and threw it into the fire. 5 years later, Northgate was no longer just a safe house. It was a settlement. My ice powers had grown. I could create ice walls to expand our perimeter instantly. We had taken in more survivors, good people, vetted by me and my parents. Miles was our head of agriculture. We had a school, a hospital, and a trade route with other survivor enclaves. I stood on the balcony of the villa, the useless villa Maya had mocked. Below me, children were playing in the courtyard. The smell of baking bread wafted from the communal kitchen. My parents were sitting on the porch, playing with a golden retriever puppy we had found. The world was still broken. The zombies were still out there. But we were alive. I looked at the gate. It stood tall, impenetrable, a monument to the $10 million mistake that saved humanity, or at least my piece of it. Mom. Dad. I called out. Dinner's ready. We're having hot pot. Coming, sweetie. Mom yelled back. I smiled, turning back into the warmth of my home. Maya was right about one thing. Northgate was quiet. And I did love the quiet. It was the best money I ever spent.